my boxing philosophy. So my boxing, so like for the sport of boxing, not like cardio kickboxing or kickboxing, just like plain and simple boxing. And for like boxing in a ring is, I would call it leave no trace boxing. And so that means inflict as little damage on the opponent as possible. And one of the things that, or questions that tends to come with what is my boxing philosophy is, sorry, my glasses are getting fogged up, is what are my boxing origins? So they go back, the origins, I'm not some fancy pants boxer that trained in a gym or trains in a gym at this point in time, maybe one day. Mine is survival boxing and like hand-to-hand combat and self-defense settings. And as a kid, my sister and I would get into it. I have a scar from where she kicked my glasses into my face. So I used to wear metal rimmed glasses and she kicked them into my face and I had to pull them out of my face, out of my cheek. Now I wear plastic. So like I wear Ray-Bans because they're plastic and so I don't get metal jammed into my face when I've been physically assaulted and stuff like that. And so for me, hand-to-hand combat in boxing specifically was family. My sister and I wouldn't always tell my parents about it. We're not particularly fond of it, but it also wasn't some like juvenile, I'm rebelling against my parents' wishes that they don't want me to box or get hurt or something like that. It wasn't some juvenile rebellion and it wasn't some fancy pants, oh, my parents are gonna train me or I'm gonna go practice at this gym and then become a big boxer. No, for me, it's purely survival has been how it's been fostered. And so that goes into my leave no trace thing because as someone who's been physically assaulted and had to use boxing as self-defense and in hand-to-hand combat in real-life situations to save my own life, leave no trace boxing kind of becomes the only real philosophy of I'm not going, it keeps myself in control. There's boxers out there who get out of control and inflict more damage than is necessary and get off on that kind of thing. And I am not one for unnecessary harm. So for me, leave no trace boxing is about minimizing damage inflicted on the other person. Which sounds kind of counterintuitive, but it's, in boxing, you really need, a boxer needs, so like I need to really be able to keep myself in control so that I don't hurt someone else unnecessarily, but also if I get out of control, then I can become overexposed and that can actually result in more harm to myself from the other person. So it can go both ways. So leave no trace is my philosophy. And I described my origins a little bit. Yeah, I think that's kind of everything. I thought of something else while I was talking and now I'm completely blanking on it. Yeah. Boxing moving forward. I've started practicing again. Boxing is not synonymous with fighter. So people like fighting is something that comes from within. There are a lot of boxers in the world who train and do it to have the boxer image and that kind of thing, and maybe a fighter or a warrior image without having the heart or the soul of like overcoming trauma or abuse and stuff like that in the sense of physical strength as well as a boxing kind of image. It's kind of a sensitive subject for me because I come from that, and so it's at least at this point in time there aren't really any fighter boxers in the female. Especially on the international level and like global level, it's a relatively new sport. It wasn't introduced to the Olympics until 2012, so there hasn't really been time for a lot of the people who might actually be really good boxers if they choose to pursue the more kind of mundane boxing ring form of boxing, as opposed to kind of more of a survival style of boxing, which is what I'm used to. I'm not saying I'm better, probably actually worse than the fancy pants boxing ring. Maybe one day I will no longer call it fancy pants boxing, but there's got to be a diversification in a fighting style and root cause, not just rebelling against parents, or, oh, I could be good at this, but respect, at least from me, for boxers comes from those who do it because it's their heartbeat. Like for me, it's my favorite sport. So I hold my boxer level for that reason to a little bit of a higher standard. Oh, and then going back to the leave no trace thing. Leave no trace because it's okay if I get hit. I mean, my past traumas kind of have helped hone my boxing style. So for me, it's not leave no trace going both ways. It's leave no trace in how I approach the other person. So they can hit me and beat me up as much as they want. That doesn't mean I'm going to do the same to them, especially unnecessarily. And that's just my own personal standard, and everybody has different standards and different styles and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just me.